It started with a single phone call, late at night, when the house was so quiet I could hear my own breathing. The old landline in the kitchen rang, its shrill tone jolting me out of bed. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, waiting for it to ring. When it did, I tried speaking, demanding, "Who is this?" No response, just that awful breathing. I called the phone company, desperate for answers, but they were useless. Sometimes I'd wake up to my cell buzzing at 3 a.m., the breathing so loud it felt like they were standing over me. I started sleeping with a kitchen knife under my pillow, checking every window before bed. One night, I came home to find my front door slightly ajar, not enough to notice at first, but enough to make my blood run cold. Nothing was missing, but my bedroom smelled faintly of cigarette smoke, though no one in my house smoked. I called the cops again, but they found no fingerprints, no evidence. Just another report. My ancient landline couldn't trace calls or block numbers, and their only advice was to change my number. For a week, it was quiet. No calls, no breathing, no signs of tampering. I started to relax, telling myself it was over. But then, late one night, my camera app pinged. The footage showed a figure standing on my porch, face hidden in a hood, holding a phone to their ear. They didn't move, just stood there, staring at the camera. My new number buzzed, and I froze, knowing what I'd hear if I answered. I didn't. The figure lingered for 10 minutes before walking away. I called the police, but by the time they arrived, the street was empty. They told me to move if I could. I'm staying with a friend now, my house abandoned. The calls have stopped, but I still check my phone every night, waiting for that unknown number. I don't know if they'll find me again, but I can't shake the feeling that they're still out there, listening. I didn't want to. It felt like letting whoever this was win. Why should I upend my life over their game? I stumbled through the dark, picked up the receiver, and said hello. No one answered, just slow, deliberate breathing on the other end, heavy and rasping, like someone was holding the phone too close. I hung up, heart racing, telling myself it was a prank or a wrong number. But the next night, around midnight, it happened again. Same breathing, same silence. I slammed the phone down, unnerved, but it kept happening, every night, like clockwork. By the third night, I was dreading the sound of that phone. Instead, I stopped answering. I'd let the phone ring, the sound echoing through the house like a taunt. I'd check the locks obsessively, peer out windows, convinced someone was out there, watching. I stopped sleeping, my eyes burning from staying up, listening for any sign of danger. One evening, I came home from work to find wood shavings on my doorstep. Someone had tried to pry the lock. There were scratches around the deadbolt, splinters scattered on the ground. My stomach churned. I called the police, hands shaking as I explained the calls, the breathing, the door. They came, took a report, and looked around, but found nothing. "Call us if it escalates," they said, leaving me alone in the dark. For a week, it seemed to work. The calls didn't stop, but I could pretend they weren't real. Then they started hitting my cell phone. The first time, I picked up, thinking it was a friend, but it was the same breathing, louder, more intimate. The numbers were always different, random digits I didn't recognize, so blocking them did nothing. I downloaded an app to filter unknown callers, but somehow, the calls slipped through. I'd be eating dinner, and my phone would buzz, the breathing filling my ear like a whisper from someone in the room. I started getting paranoid. Every creak in the house made me jump. The calls didn't stop, they got worse. They'd come at all hours now, not just midnight. I couldn't take it anymore. I canceled the landline, switched my cell number, and installed a new deadbolt and a security camera. When I moved into the old apartment, I thought the creaks and groans were just part of its character. It was a steal, cheap rent, high ceilings, and a cozy layout perfect for a broke college grad. But a week in, I started hearing something else. Faint taps at night, like fingernails drumming on wood. They came from the wall behind my bed, always around 2 a.m. I chalked it up to pipes or mice, but it was too rhythmic, too deliberate. I'd lie there, heart pounding, waiting for it to stop. It always did, eventually, but it left me uneasy. I told the landlord about it, but he just laughed. Old buildings talk, he said, brushing me off. I let it go, but then things started moving. I'd leave a book on the coffee table, come back, and find it on the couch. My keys would vanish from the hook by the door, only to turn up in the bathroom sink. I started doubting myself. Maybe I was stressed, forgetting where I'd left things. But deep down, I knew it wasn't me. I started locking my bedroom door at night. Even though I lived alone. One night, I woke to a louder sound. A slow, scraping drag inside the wall, like something heavy being pulled. I pressed my ear against the plaster and heard it. Shallow breathing, steady and close. My skin crawled. I grabbed a flashlight, checked every corner of the apartment, but found nothing. No signs of entry, no footprints. The next day, I bought a cheap security camera and aimed it at the bedroom wall. That night, I barely slept, my phone clutched in my hand, waiting for the app to alert me. The footage was chilling. At 3:17 a.m., a panel in the wall slid open, and a figure slipped out, tall, shadowy, face hidden. They stood by my bed, staring down at where I'd been sleeping, for nearly 10 minutes before retreating back into the wall. I couldn't breathe. Watching it, I called the police, showed them the video, my voice shaking. They found a crawl space behind the wall, a narrow passage leading to the apartment next door. The tenant there, a quiet guy I'd barely spoken to, was gone when they checked, his place empty except for a sleeping bag and a notebook filled with my schedule. When I left for work, when I got coffee, when I went to bed, they arrested him. A week later, caught him lurking in the alley behind the building. He admitted to watching me, said he just wanted to know me better. The cops couldn't prove he'd done more than trespass, so he got a slap on the wrist. I moved out the next day, crashing with a friend while I hunted for a new place. Before I left, I checked the crawl space myself. Tucked in a corner was a Polaroid of me sleeping, taken from above my bed. I burned it. I'm in a new apartment now, a modern one with no hidden passages. But I still wake up at night, convinced I hear tapping. I check the walls, the closets, every shadow. The police say he's moved out of state, but I don't believe it. I keep a bat by my bed, and I never sleep with the lights off. I don't know if he's still watching, but I feel him, somewhere out there, waiting for a way back in. The first package arrived on a Tuesday, a small cardboard box on my porch with no return address, just my name scrawled in jagged black marker. I hadn't ordered anything, but I opened it, curious. Inside was a cheap plastic necklace, the kind you'd find in a dollar store bin. I figured it was a mistake, maybe meant for a neighbor, so I tossed it and moved on. 2 days later, another box appeared. This one had a photo inside, a grainy shot of me outside my house, laughing at something on my phone. My heart stopped. I tore it up, hands trembling, and checked my doorbell camera. The footage was blank, the camera disabled for exactly 10 minutes. When the package must have been dropped, I asked neighbors if they'd seen anyone. No one had. I started locking my doors even during the day, keeping curtains drawn. But the packages kept coming. Every few days, another unmarked box. One had a lock of hair, dark and curly like mine, tied with a red ribbon. Another had a crumpled coffee cup I'd thrown out at work. The worst was a note, written in the same jagged script. "You're perfect. I see you every day." I stopped opening the boxes, piling them in a closet, but they kept showing up, each one more personal. A used hairbrush, a grocery receipt I'd tossed, a drawing of my face, disturbingly accurate. I called the police after the 5th package. They took the boxes, asked about exes or enemies, but without a sender's name or prints, they were stumped. "Get better cameras," they said, like it was my fault. I splurged on high-end ones with motion alerts and cloud storage. The next night, my phone pinged at 1 a.m. The footage showed a figure in a black hoodie placing a box on the porch, pausing to stare into the camera, their face shadowed but their eyes glinting. I called the cops again, but they found nothing. No trace of the figure, no clues in the box. The deliveries didn't stop. I'd hear the thud on the porch at odd hours, see the hooded figure on the camera, always gone before help arrived. I stopped leaving the house unless I had to, working from home, avoiding windows. One night, I came home to find a package inside my house, on the kitchen table. The door was locked, the alarm set, but there it was, a tiny mirror with "Look Closer" scratched into the glass. I moved to a hotel that night, too scared to stay. The police swept the house, found a basement window with a broken latch, but no fingerprints, no leads that I couldn't keep living like that. I packed a bag, left the unopened boxes behind, and moved to a friend's place across town. I changed my phone number, deleted my social media, and installed a security system at my new apartment. No packages have followed me here, and the cameras haven't caught anything. But I still check the porch every morning, heart in my throat, expecting that jagged handwriting. I don't know who they are or how they found me, but I feel them. Out there, waiting. I keep a knife in my bag now, and I never walk alone. I don't think this is over.